a post titled, "What is a question you have always wanted to ask someone of another race?" Here's what he wrote. Why don't black people tip? I work as a bartender and it always amazes me how solid this stereotype is. Every now and again, a black patron will leave a 15 to 20% tip, but usually it is between 0 to 5%. There's got to be a reason behind it. What is it?
So the other day I got a new.
So that's an advertisement. So we're not going to listen to that. So he went on Pod Save America. It's like this podcast, 3 white dudes with a podcast. Oh, so creative, right? So he went on there to explain it, and we're actually going to watch that right now. So I'm going to stop sharing this. But I have a thing to say about the black people don't tip. That's not the first time I heard that. And I'm pretty sure this is not the first time y'all heard this too, right? From my experience, the way that black people tip is based on our service. So if the service was great, we're going to tip you. If the service was shitty, you getting $1. I know I have done it. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I'm tipping for a great experience, great service. I am not tipping when you just didn't attend to me, you weren't paying attention. I mean, when you black and you go to restaurants, some of the waiters, waitresses, they treat you like, no, yeah, I know they ain't got no money, so I ain't even worried about it. So yeah, if you treat me like that, like I'm nobody, you're not going to get tipped great. Or maybe not at all, depending on how nasty your attitude was. So that's the way I always know it to be. So, the whole black people don't tip, I'm not actually offended by it, but it's his explanation that made me offended. And we're going to go ahead and watch it right now. Here we go, you guys. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that.
The first Reddit post I wanted to ask you about is from 2013. So someone wrote on Reddit, "What is one question you've always wanted to ask someone of another race?" You responded, "Why don't black people tip? I work as a bartender and it always amazes me how solid the stereotype is. Every now and again, a black patron will leave a 15 to 20% tip, but usually it is between 0 and 5%. There's got to be a reason behind it. What is it?" End of quote. How did you feel rereading that post? And what's your response to people who hear that and think that is like textbook racism and it's offensive?
I mean, one, I was legitimately asking the question. I mean, that was the point of the thread, was to ask the question. Amusingly enough, I remember this time when I had first started bar.
Not that, I don't know why I would say something like that, or, why I would make a public statement, a public post saying like, why don't black people tip? And mind you, Anna just read that comment where it explained like, oh, well, they only tip me like between 5 and 10%, no, 0 to 5%. And sometimes if they're nice, they give 15 to 20. But he's saying here, I was legitimately curious. Like, that was it. Not realizing the racial undertones and just, it was flat out ignorant to say that. He was just curious.
Attending. And then I had a conversation with a friend of mine who was black, who was a bartender, who did a great job of walking me through structural injustice and the fact of feelings of lack of agency. There were a whole bunch of reasons. And after that, I was like, oh yeah, that makes absolutely perfect sense. It was certainly not meant as a malicious thing. I was asking the question because that was kind of the point of the thread, actually.
So you're saying that this is not something that you were shitposting about. This was not something that you felt, it wasn't meant to be a commentary. It was a question you were sincerely asking on a Reddit thread because you thought there might be some sort of like cultural explanation or something. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I grew up in Maine. I had never bartended before. I was living in Washington, D.C. And I honestly, I reread a lot of the comments for obvious reasons. Many of them I'm like, oh God, that one I must.
Isn't Washington, D.C. like 80% black? It's a high percentage of black people. So if you're in Washington, D.C., you're going to see nothing but black people.
I was legitimately curious. And it was not, certainly not meant in any malicious way. And I got an answer soon afterwards in reality from an actual person, but.
Got it. Okay, so another one that's gotten a lot of attention is there were posts from 2013.
Okay. That's all we need to watch. But yeah, so basically he doubled down on it. It was all like, yeah, you niggas don't tip. So yeah, I was curious why you niggas don't tip. He was like, yeah, you niggas don't tip. I was wondering why you niggas don't tip. Oh my God. What's up, Jackie? The way I ain't even gonna replay. I was gonna replay it back one more time because that shit was funny. No, he didn't say you niggas don't tip, but I mean that's what I got from it. You niggas don't tip. So I had to, I was very curious why you niggas don't tip. He's like, yeah, I grew up in Maine. Yeah, I figured there's not a lot of black people in Maine. But the fact that he didn't say, my comment was ignorant or address like why that was problematic. And he just said, well, I was just asking a question, like, what's wrong? I'm like, again, we always want to say the Republicans are racist, which, yeah, but we also got to look at these quote unquote progressives or these people called leftists. I used to think of myself as a progressive. I don't want to be associated with no racist, so I don't consider myself a racist. I mean, progressive. So I just say I'm a Democrat. I just leave it at that. I don't try to put no special title because I realize the people with those special titles, they special. That's the end of the show. Love y'all. Deuces.